Salutations, adventurers. I'm Kathleen, creator of Beyond Typical Travel. If you're returning to us, welcome back. If you've just found us, we're so glad you did. You have found your travel tribe. Today, we're on day 2 of Windstar Legend in the Mediterranean. We are going to discover Parkway, La Sagrada Familia, one of the 3 homes of Antoni Gaudí. There's a surprise. You've got to wait till the end. We were late for Windstar Legend. Were we the last guests on? You're gonna have to wait till the end to find out. Ready? But first, as you enter Casa Batllo, you are ushered into a room with a moving sidewalk that slowly takes you through this room, which is multi-sensory. Plays ethereal music, sounds of bugs and nature, earth elements, and throughout all of that, there's filters of colors and light and images all around you. What you hear here in this recording is similar to what you hear at Casa Batllo, but due to copyright, I wasn't able to play the actual sound of the experience. The whole of Casa Batllo was lights and curves, ever-changing nooks and crannies, basically a child's dream house, but luxury style. All the edges were smooth and wave-like, light hit from every angle. Even the interior stairwells had light brought in from the angles of the windows above. You can see in some of these videos that everybody's wearing headphones. Upon entry, you're given a tablet with the language that you speak, and it takes you through the house, giving you a story of what the room was used for, the symbols in the room, and it offers you a look back into the time when the family lived there as you hold the tablet up and circle it around the room, such as the scale-like winding staircase or the mushroom-shaped fireplace nook. Up in the attic area, the presentation talks about being in part of the house like the lungs of a sleeping dragon as it breathes in and out. You can see the floor tiles move and pulse, and the ceiling is shaped like a rib cage. Take a look at the screen of the tablet in this video clip. Heading up to the roof was so much fun. There were so many twisting stairwells and tiny windows to look out of. And on the roof, you came into this beautiful flower garden, not to mention the city views, and up close with those beautiful colored spines that edge the entire side of the house roof itself. All done in these colorful mosaic tiles shining in the warm glow of the gentle winter sun. After spending what seemed like way too short of a time on the roof, we went back down. Of course, another tightly winding stairwell. All I can say is hold on tight. Now, of course, I can't show you all the magnificent wonders of this house. I need to save some of those secrets for you to find all on your own. And although they certainly saved the most exhilarating experience for last, I would hate to ruin it for you, so I'll give you just the briefest of glimpses And of course, because of copyright laws, the music playing here is not what is actually playing in the exhibit. Leaving Casa Batllo, we were met almost instantly by another of Gaudi's homes, Casa. Since our time in Barcelona was limited, we had to choose which of the 3 Gaudi homes we were going to tour, but just another reason to go back. Heading to our next adventure of the day, we filled our water bottles at the local fountain. See, I told you I'd get better at it. And then we headed to La Sagrada Familia. Being that it was winter in the Mediterranean, we were never really met with hordes of people or truly long lines. Now, don't get me wrong. The major sites were still crowded or still had crowds around them, but they were manageable and we never felt crushed by the weather or the tourists. On our way to La Sagrada Familia, we had stopped in Plaça de Gaudi, which is a small park just across the street from La Sagrada Familia. It's out of the way of the masses, and has an excellent view of the cathedral. It even has some ancient stones. However, it would have been nice to have some sort of signage telling you what the stones were from or what they were for. Certainly take advantage of this perfect photo spot. La Sagrada Familia was enormous, and as detailed as the outside of the building was, it was almost the exact opposite on the inside. This is another example of a major tourist stop that I would strongly recommend a tour guide. Although one could go walking around and through on your own while admiring the beauty, you would certainly miss the history, the nuances of the artists who worked on La Sagrada Familia, and you wouldn't understand the meaning behind the colors used in the stained glass or the statues in place. Now, that was our excellent guide you saw there. He was explaining to us that found amongst Gaudi's things were drawings of the entry doors that you can see here. These ones were created by Japanese sculptor Etsuro Sutu, a longtime follower of Antoni Gaudi and collaborator in construction of the basilica. He tried to capture the essence of what Gaudi would have wanted by adding the insects to bring in nature, as well as make the space more kid-friendly. Gaudi wanted this chapel, this cathedral, to be for everyone, not just pious adults who felt only the righteous should be able to worship. Well, it would take me the next hour to portray to you the sense of amazing color and symbolism that flows throughout this paragon of faith. Keeping in mind that the crowds you see here, this is considered low season, and really was not bad at all. And I say that with true meaning because crowds is one of my no-can-do things at tourist places. But these crowds would be tripled or more during the summer and the high season. Combine that with the humid heat, seems to me a no-brainer when you should actually visit the Mediterranean. Back outside of the cathedral, we came upon the side that we entered opposite from, which was the death of Christ. The statues and scenes depicted are very angular, free of any color, and flourish of any kind, but still greatly detailed. I would be remiss if I did not stress the importance of getting a guide for this location. The stories behind making Gaudi's dreams come to life for the completion of the La Sagrada Familia helped us understand the importance of the things that we were seeing. And now for my favorite part of this whole tour, we were lucky enough to snag tickets that included getting up into the towers, but also be there on a day when the weather actually cooperated, as sometimes these get closed to visitors because the wind is too strong or the rains are too much. But after a quick trip up in a very small lift, we landed on the first of 2 levels at the top of one of the towers. I decided to cut out my voice from this video here. It was just way too windy and you couldn't hear me. It was so fun seeing the different spring and fall fruits at the foods at the peak of each of the spires, spring allocated to his birth and fall being allocated to his death. It certainly was a tight fit in some places, but totally worth the scary moments. It made my tummy go woo a couple of times as the wind rushed by, knocking you into the side of the stone walls. Heading back down the narrow spiral stairwells, I actually had to take a moment or two to stop and sit. I started getting dizzy. Again, this was truly an amazing adventure. However, I could not imagine doing this in the heat and humidity of the summer months or trying to maneuver through more crowds than what we were there when we were there in February. The stairwell went on, and at one point, I thought it would never end. But of course it did. Once firmly back on the ground, we took the time to wander through the museum. I would strongly recommend doing this. It was free and well worth the time spent. You could see the timeline that it took to build the cathedral and the things that they used and put together, the sports Gaudi had in place for the people who worked for him. It truly was a work of his soul. Okay, so for lunch, we stopped at this cute little churro place. They have everything churros. And what better thing to eat in Barcelona than... Okay, wait. Just so you know, this was my husband's choice because he cannot say no to a hot dog. So I gave in, of course. A hot dog and a churro. That's a big fat no for me. But let's see what he said about it.
I got myself a churro with a hot dog, and this is really hot. I gotta put it down. It's very hot. I can't. Are you still filming? Okay. So it's a churro with a hot dog in it, covered with queso and guacamole. That is good. That is really good.
Okay, I'm loving these cod fritters. They are amazing. Today we got cod fritters and the pollo croquetas, which are these ones. They're nice and warm, toasty on the inside, gooey, and on the outside they're crunchy. They are so good. After lunch, we went to Park Guell, another attraction by Gaudi. It's all built with angles and patchwork or stones and tiles throughout. It really was a sight to behold, and honestly, my pics just don't do it justice. It was a great deal larger than I thought it would be. I could have spent a whole day in this experience alone, and although we did not do a guided tour here, I suspect we would have been able to glean a lot more on this experience had we had the time to do it. But as it was, our schedule was jam-packed and we just did not have time to fit in a tour. We walked around the grounds. There were so many paths to take, benches to rest on, birds to admire. All right, adventurers, we are at the top of Park Guell or Park Guell. I've heard it both ways. And I want to show you the spectacular view of the city we have here. Way off in the distance over there is the Windstar legend, and we'll be getting on that ship today and departing Barcelona sometime tomorrow.
Mi vida la dejé entre Ceuta y Gibraltar. Soy una raya en el mar, fantasma en la ciudad. Mi vida fue otro día, se la autor.
Ah, see, what did I tell you? Fountains all over the place. Of course, we posed for the most iconic shots in the park. And again, not to sound like a broken record, but this park was probably one of the most crowded places we went in all of Barcelona. And I just could not imagine trying to do this in the height of the season. Can I get a drum roll, please? So that is where our taxi dropped us off, and we came right here, checked in our bags to the Windstar, and we're heading right in here. Okay. Well, after an extremely long but exciting day, we finally got aboard the Windstar Legend. We were late, like no one left in the terminal late. We missed the champagne welcome and bites. Seriously disappointing, but at least the walk-on was private. Lucky us. However, thankfully, we were not the very last people. There was one more couple who got on right behind us. This was the easiest of embarkations I have ever had. Hello, thank you. One security check for the Port of Barcelona, then showing passports for Windstar, once at the top of the stairwell. Then we were met with our very happy and informative room attendant who escorted us all the way to our suite. Once we took a moment to settle into our gorgeous Juliet balcony suite, we took a tour and enjoyed some great food. I'm going to do a full suite tour and a yacht tour in separate videos coming soon. Every evening at pre-dinner time, most people gathered in the lounge on deck 5, where there was live music, passed hors d'oeuvres, and beverage service. And if you don't drink alcohol, never fear. Their mocktails were so good, you would never know that they were without. Those who showed up were friendly, and as the days wore on, we would gather and chat about our experiences that day and what we had planned next. Sometimes someone new would join your group and added to the conversation. People seemed intuitive if you wanted to be left alone. I never felt intruded upon. By the end of our cruise, we knew almost everyone in the yacht. And in one way or another, it felt like we were on our own private yacht and had invited all of our friends. After a great dinner, we usually danced the rest of the night away with some truly great people. That's all this time. Join us for day 3 of Winter in the Mediterranean on Windstar Legend. If you want to be the first to see that video, make sure you like, subscribe, and click the bell. When you do this, your support really does help us. Ta-ta for now. Wishing you safe travels and great adventures ahead.